Have you ever had an Amazon delivery that turned into something straight out of a horror story? One moment, you're delivering packages, going about your day, and the next, you're tangled in a web of strange encounters that will make you question the reality of your routine job. This is one of those experiences that will make you think twice before you answer the door next time. It all started with a routine delivery, but soon I found myself in the middle of something far darker than I ever expected. I've been working as an Amazon driver for over a year now, delivering packages to neighborhoods I've grown familiar with. One neighborhood, in particular, became a part of my daily route. It was a quiet suburban place with tree-lined streets, well-maintained lawns, and neatly parked cars. Every day, I'd park along the curb, hop out of my truck, and head up the driveways, leaving packages on the doorsteps, feeling like just another piece in the well-oiled machine that was the Amazon delivery system. But there was this one house. I had delivered there countless times, and nothing about it stood out. It was just another house with a familiar look. Yet, one day, as I walked up the driveway, I noticed something strange. There was a man standing in the open garage, watching me intently. He didn't wave or make eye contact, but I could feel his eyes on me as I walked closer. I thought about handing him the package, but as I continued up the driveway, he turned his head away and walked further into the garage, out of sight. I figured he wasn't interested and that it was just another awkward moment. I set the package down at the front step and turned back to the truck, but as I was getting into the truck, I glanced back and saw him, staring at me again, this time from the driveway. His gaze was fixed, unblinking. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up and my gut twisted. Something about the whole encounter felt off, but I shrugged it off. It was just a guy minding his business, right? Or so I thought. I finished my route for the day, returned the truck to the warehouse, and headed to my car. It was then that I saw him again. The same man. He was parked across the lot in the shadows, just watching me. It was like he'd been waiting for me. His car's lights were off, and it took me a moment to recognize him. The moment I saw his face, I knew it was him, the same guy from the driveway. I didn't know what to think. He was just sitting there in the car, staring at me. I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right, but I didn't know what else to do. After what seemed like an eternity, his car's lights flicked on, and he drove away. I watched him disappear into the night, my mind racing with confusion and suspicion. For the next few days, I didn't deliver to that house, but when I finally had another package to drop off there, I was met with an eerie silence. The garage door was closed and there was no sign of the man. But then, something strange happened. There was a note taped to the front door. It read, "Please deliver package inside the house." I thought about it for a moment. It was unusual, but maybe they had a problem with package theft. It wasn't unheard of, and I knew Amazon didn't want packages getting lost or stolen. I didn't want to risk any issues, so I decided to follow the request. I opened the door, it was unlocked, and walked inside. The entryway looked normal, but then I saw another note, this time taped to the wall with an arrow pointing to the right. It said, "Deliver package this way." I felt uneasy, but I went ahead, following the arrows until I reached the living room. I set the package down quickly and left. Something about the whole experience felt wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it. As I walked back to my truck, I glanced back one more time, and to my shock, I saw a police car parked outside. It seemed like the man's house had some kind of connection to something shady. It sent a chill down my spine. I didn't see him again after that, but every time I drove by, I couldn't help but feel the weight of the encounter pressing on me. A few weeks after that unsettling experience, I had an even stranger incident. This time, it wasn't with my deliveries, but rather with my personal Amazon orders. I had been working a long shift and I'd gotten home late. My coffee maker had broken the day before, and I was desperate for my morning caffeine. So, I ordered a new one on Amazon, using next day delivery. When I got home the next day, I checked the tracking, and it said the coffee maker had been delivered. I walked down to the mailroom of my apartment building to pick it up, but when I got there, my package was nowhere to be found. I double-checked every other package, but none of them were mine. Confused, I went back upstairs to my apartment, trying to figure out what happened. Just as I was about to start filing a complaint, there was a knock on my door. I opened it, and there, sitting on the ground, was my coffee maker box. It was already opened, and the coffee maker was inside, but I couldn't understand why it was left on my doorstep with no note or explanation. At first, I thought someone had mistakenly taken it, opened it, and then realized it wasn't theirs. But that explanation didn't sit right with me. The box was left in plain sight, and there was no note or anything. It was as though someone had deliberately left it there for me, but I couldn't fathom why. I decided not to call Amazon, assuming it was just a freak accident. I went about my day, used the coffee maker, and everything seemed fine. But then, a few days later, I had another delivery issue. This time, it was a skincare order I'd placed. The same thing happened again. The package was marked as delivered, but it wasn't in the mailroom. I retraced my steps and found nothing. Then, later that night, I received another knock at my door. This time, there was a note instead of the package. The note said, "To get your package, go to apartment 112. I didn't recognize the apartment number, but I realized that someone had been stealing my packages. I reported the incident to my building's management, and they quickly checked the security footage. The thief was a man who lived a few doors down from me. He had been taking my packages and then leaving them on my doorstep, probably hoping I wouldn't notice. When they confronted him, he confessed to the thefts and was evicted. I still don't understand why he did it, but I'm thankful I didn't get caught up in something worse. It was a terrifying reminder that sometimes the creepiest things can happen when you least expect them." It wasn't just my apartment that had strange experiences with deliveries. A few months later, my neighbor had a similar issue. He lived in a large apartment building like mine, but he had a much different experience with his deliveries. One evening, he ordered a set of kitchen supplies, but when the package arrived, it disappeared without a trace. After searching around, he noticed a note on his doorstep one night, just like the note I received. This one said, "Go to apartment 112 to pick up your package." Confused and angry, my neighbor went straight to the apartment number listed on the note. When he arrived, he discovered a whole stash of packages that had been taken by someone in the building. It turned out that a thief had been pilfering packages and stashing them in his apartment, just like my experience. The thief had been getting away with it under everyone's nose. It was around 11:30 p.m. on a weeknight when I had another encounter with a suspicious delivery. I was still awake, sitting in the living room and watching TV, when I noticed movement outside. I looked out the window and saw a man walking up to my front door, wearing an Amazon delivery vest and carrying a package. I hadn't ordered anything, and Amazon doesn't deliver at that hour. I stood quietly by the window, watching as he approached. He didn't knock or ring the doorbell, but instead, he lingered at the doorstep, holding the package. He was looking around, almost like he was checking to see if anyone was watching. I watched him for a minute, feeling uneasy. It was late, and nothing about this delivery felt right. I decided to check from another window to see where he was going, and that's when I saw him walk around the side of the house, still holding the package. Now, I was really suspicious. I grabbed my keys and went out to the back door, trying to catch a glimpse of what was happening. Just as I turned on the light to the back door, I saw the man quickly run away, still clutching the Amazon package. He ran back around the house and disappeared into the street, speeding off in a car that I couldn't quite make out. I am pretty sure he wasn't a real Amazon driver. He was likely using the vest as a disguise. The whole situation felt like an attempted robbery, but luckily nothing worse happened. It made me realize how careful you have to be, even in the safety of your own home. Looking back, these strange delivery experiences are a reminder that sometimes the creepiest encounters are the ones that seem the most mundane. It's easy to get complacent, but if I hadn't stayed vigilant, who knows what could have happened. Have you ever had a strange delivery experience or noticed something off with your packages? Let me know in the comments below.